Well, Spring, it was the night where we were all duped yet again by the Colorado Avalanche as we thought they were going to be coming out in their brand new alternate uniforms, their heritage throwbacks to the blue days of the Quebec Nordiques. They were on the ice this morning at Skate at Ball Arena with brand new pads, brand new gloves. Scott Wedgwood had some leather inspired looking leg pads out there. We all thought this evening was the day against an original six opponent in the Boston Bruins, and lo and behold, the Avalanche just play a home game in their normal burgundy and blues, but they find a way to get a 4-1 victory at home over the Boston Bruins. They improved to 5-0-1 through the first 6 games of the season, despite some consistent power play woes.
Yeah, hey, I don't care what uniforms you wear as long as you play like that, except for the power play, which we will talk about. But it's funny because it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even really matter because this team is playing so well and they're getting great goaltending. And this was one of those nights, man. This was one of those nights where now I will go look at the odds to win the Hart Trophy. And Connor McDavid, live odds right now, DraftKings, plus 275. McKinnon, plus 350. We talked about this before the season started. I think McKinnon was like plus 500. McDavid was like plus 200, plus 250-ish. So the gap has narrowed. This was a Nathan McKinnon night. This was a hearty night. The opening goal that he scores, the goal that ties this at 1, great play by Lehkonen to get him that puck. And then, just smooth to the backhand. You know what's so funny is Nathan McKinnon is terrible in the shootout, but when he has open ice in game action, he is damn near unstoppable.
Yeah, it's almost as if he needs to have someone on his back hip in order to finish on either a breakaway or closing one-on-one. Levi asks, is Mac getting 50 or more again this season? He's well on his way. He's shooting the puck as often as he needs to score 50. He looks wonderful as he plays next to Marty Necas. Arturi Lehkonen has looked very good against, or not against, but rather alongside Nathan McKinnon as well. And that has been the story thus far. It has been Nathan McKinnon and the top line have been great. Scott Wedgwood has been absolutely stellar, 1 year removed from being traded for Justus Onanen in a draft pick when he was playing with the Nashville Predators. And a horrible power play. Like the fact that they're 5-0-1 right now, Spring, despite going just 12% through their first 6 games, they are 5-0-1. It's not like they're playing against a bunch of crappy teams. Now, do I think Boston is a playoff team? No. You have heard me say that multiple times already this season and in our preseason show where we previewed everything. I think Boston is a lottery team this year. I don't think they're like San Jose bad. But
no,
they're not a playoff
middle of the
team.
league. They're just middle. I agree. Lower middle because they won't be a playoff team. I agree.
But that's been your story so far. It's been Nate in the top line, Scott Wedgwood being fantastic, and the power play not holding them back somehow. I thought the power play did one good thing today. I liked the zone entry, and the zone entry hasn't been good almost all season. I thought they gained offensive pressure early. And then once they got into the zone, they were forcing passes. McKinnon has done one thing poorly this entire season. I think he is dusting the puck off on the power play way too much. Like he forces stuff through the middle, and when he forces things, it's after like 3 or 4 stick handles for no reason, and then he tries to find this like against the grain skip pass that goes through 2 defenders' sticks into the middle of the ice, where even if the pass gets received, it has to be received and shot within a half a second, or the opportunity isn't actually there. So I don't know what Nate's doing on the power play in terms of his puck distribution. Outside of that, he looks every piece the part of the best player on planet Earth.
2 points for him tonight with the 2 goals. He was a +3, so now he has 10 points on the year. Jack Eichel, William Nylander lead the NHL with 11 points, although that might not be updated because the Golden Knights are in action right now and they're crushing the Flames. I assume Eichel's got at least a point or 2 tonight. But, yeah, I don't see McDavid. Where's McDavid? Because that's the race. That's the race for Hart. It's a 2-man race, and it will be all season long. Nathan McKinnon now with 10 points. McDavid, 7 points. I don't know if that's, I think that's updated. It's always weird when you got a bunch of games on a Saturday night. Either way, 2-man race. Nate, he's going to do this thing. I mean, I don't see him slowing down. He looks fantastic. He might go win another Hart this year. He really might. I think it's a savvy bet, actually, because everyone loves Connor McDavid, but oh my gosh, it wasn't just the 2 goals he scores. He was everywhere. He's distributing. He's a playmaker. Sorry, John Butchergross. Some of the passes he had tonight that didn't result, the passes to Marty Necas, one on a little mini 2-on-1 breakout backhand to Necas that Swayman saves. Another good pass to Necas.
Swayman was really good tonight, too. Outside the first 2 shots goalie. On goal, he was great.
He's a good goalie. Nathan McKinnon is just, it's unbelievable. He's every bit Connor McDavid, if not more. If not more. It's underrated and it's unheralded across the league. How he looked tonight, and McDavid's amazing, but he looked better than McDavid tonight. That's how good he played tonight.
There's a chance that those 2 players, given what is on the schedule this year, those 2 players have a chance to do something that has never been done before, and that is sweep the awards in an Olympic season. Like, I could see both of those players. If Edmonton wins a cup this year, I could see McDavid going Rocket, Hart, Art Ross, Conn Smythe, and then having a chance to be the most valuable player at the Milan Cortina Olympics in February of 2026. If Colorado wins a cup this year, I could see Nathan McKinnon making a run at Richard, Hart, Art Ross, Conn Smythe, best player at the Olympics. And I think they're the only 2 players on planet Earth that have the ability to do that this year. Nobody else can make that claim. Nobody else. It's those 2 guys who have an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, they're the cream of the crop, and then it's everybody else. And as the years go on, Nate's almost getting better. And that's how good Connor is.
He certainly is.
That Nate is continuing to show everyone who watches the Avalanche night in, night out that he's every bit that player. And he honestly might be better. And I never knew if he could get to that level. And holy crap, he's there. I mean, what a game. What a game from Nathan McKinnon. And he's really been there all year long. And the way he's playing, and it's not just, the 2 goals. Let's talk about his second goal, that slap shot. And, it's a really, heady play in the corner to get that puck to Nate, but also that Arturi Lehkonen getting him that puck. Lehkonen had a great night assisting on both of McKinnon's goals. But Makar activated high to low often tonight. And it's risky, but when you got Taves playing next to you, you got a little bit of
when you're fast enough to cover up your own mistakes. If you happen to make the mistake on the odd, and he doesn't, right? You can count on 1 or 2 hands the entirety of the season, like a glaring, horrible mistake or a turnover that Kale is responsible for. 90% of the time, he's fast enough to make up for his own fuck up.
Yeah, and he did. There was one tonight where Kale cut down low, but he was able to skate back, and you got Taves kind of parachuting back there as well. But on this play, Kale cuts net front. That creates a screen. It also causes a Bruins player to trail him, which creates a screen in front of Jeremy Swayman. And before Swayman can even realize it, that puck is absolutely buried top shelf far side. I sound like Peter McNabb saying that.
You sure do.
As he got shouted out twice this week on the broadcast, the former Bruin, the legendary Bruin, former Buffalo Sabre. He was brought up on the Altitude TV broadcast on Monday when they played there on Canadian Thanksgiving. And, shout out to Peter McNabb. But top shelf, far side. That was what a bullet of a shot from Nathan McKinnon. He almost didn't even realize it went in. It happened that fast. What a game. What a game. Let's talk about the power play, man. Let's talk about the power play.
I can do that, and I can rip on the power play. It's actually very nice for a team that's 5-0-1 to have a glaring issue of something that needs to get better, something that, in April, May, and June, which again feels like a decade away at this point, and it's not, but it is very, very far away on the calendar. It'll kill you in April, May, and June against a
Yep.
team like the Dallas Stars. It will kill you if you're going up against Edmonton in a West Final and Edmonton's power play is running at a 35% clip in the postseason, like they seemingly always do. That's how you lose playoff series. We saw that's the reason why you lost against Dallas last year. It wasn't the Mikko hat trick. It's because the power play was god awful and it has bled into this year. If you guys caught the stat that Altitude put out early on in this game, it was the stat through the first 5 games of last year compared to this year, where the Avs are scoring at the exact same clip going into tonight's game, 3.4 goals per game. They continue on that trend tonight by scoring 4. Obviously, the Nature's empty netter coming from 140 feet tonight ensures that you get to that number 4. Both years, 3.4. They're allowing exactly 4 fewer goals per game. Scott Wedgwood, again, lowers that number. It was at 1.6 going into tonight's game, and he throws up another 1 on his side of the scoreboard this evening. The crazy thing is this. The penalty kill is 20% better than it was last year. Do you know what the power play was? Despite being 2-4 through their first 6 games last year, the power play ran at a 42% clip last year through their first 6 hockey games of the year. They're at 12% right now. 12.
Well, because they're getting the goaltending, which they did not have last year. Yeah, those numbers are incredible that they're averaging, through 5 games. Now that we're through 6 here tonight, so that number has gone up a little bit. But through 5 games last year, 5 games this year, they were scoring 3.4 goals per game. Same number, but they were allowing over 5 goals per game through 5 games. And that's way down this year because Georgiev on and in was trash. And they showed the PK stats too, which were night and day. And I don't think, and yes, they were hurt, but the goaltending was trash. That kills your PK. So Scott Wedgwood has been tremendous. Man, you can't even get a number on the, now it's not going to happen, but you can't even, Scott Wedgwood's name isn't even available to bet on for Vezina on DraftKings. And I get it because Mackenzie Blackwood, his conditioning loan assignment was terminated. He was terminated, Raj. But that means that he's coming back very soon. Blackwood's actually plus 3,500 to win the Vezina.
That was my choice, and he needs to start playing hockey games in order for me to win on that dark horse Vezina finalist pick.
Well, it seems like it's coming soon. Could be as soon as, when's our next game? Monday, I believe. Could be as soon as Monday.
I think
but yeah,
Tuesday. I think the next game is Tuesday.
Next game's Tuesday.
Tuesday at Utah feels right, and then I think they come back home Thursday against Carolina, which, again, we're waiting for the Nordiques. There's a reason why I'm wearing my Nordiques hat today, and it's not the same color, right? This is the one from the outdoor game that they played against the Vegas Golden Knights, the Pietrangelo, oh boy, Nathan McKinnon Lake Tahoe game. Thursday, could we see, because I thought it was going to be against an original 6 team that you saw the blue Nordiques, and they are true blue Nordiques throwbacks. Like, there's no like weird reverse retro type of thing. It's a tried and true fleur-de-lis Nordique logo in the middle, royal blue and red. They're gorgeous, guys. Could we see it Thursday? And maybe they ask Carolina to play in their white Hartford Whaler jerseys, which would be an all-time jersey matchup.
It would be. No, that'd be excellent. I can't wait for these jerseys. They are coming. It's obviously a tease. It's a slow burn. It's a slow tease because they're going to be epic, Raj.
I distract from the power play talk. I apologize. Maybe the one thing that they need is they need these new jerseys to spark the power play.
Well, here's what's going on, okay? Here's what's going on. So tonight, they move Victor Olofsson to PP1, and they take Arturi Lehkonen off of PP1. And Olofsson is on the right wing, which makes perfect sense. At least that's where, he's generally position, barring, a shift in the play. And Brock Nelson is now your slot bumper guy, net front guy. But here's the problem. Well, not necessarily actually, but Brock Nelson now assumes that middle role. And the reason I said not necessarily is here's this. Now, first handful of games in the season, it was really this box and one. Over the past few games, they've started to float Marty Necas net front. And I noticed it a lot tonight. Necas was more so net front.
Yeah, it's more of a true umbrella right now.
That's what I want. Here's the problem, though. Marty Necas is not good in that role.
Yeah, he doesn't thrive there.
Watch him. When pucks are thrown towards net, Necas is guessing and stabbing. He looks like in baseball when you're bunting and you're like kind of throwing the bat. No, you're not supposed to throw. It's supposed to be soft hands. You're supposed to feel that in, okay?
Raise your body with the bat.
How about Landeskog got a brief look on Powerplay 2, one of their 5 power plays tonight, had this nice little tip play on purpose. Now, it was a different type of tip. It was from out wide, but he was trying to tip it back door. I want to say it was Nichushkin who might have been their back door. But
yeah, to the backside cut. They missed it by about 2 feet, but it was a really, really creative play.
How good is Gabe at those redirects, at those
Gabe
tips?
Needs to be there.
He's got those soft hands. Now, if you want to sell me that Gabe's just not ready for those minutes because this is his first full season back in 3 years, I'll buy that all day. I get that. So if Gabe's not ready, put Valeri Nichushkin out there. He can tip pucks. He's big. I love Necas.
I'm not taking him off the power play, though. So I agree. I think he's in the wrong spot. If they're going to go to a true umbrella, I don't want to take him off the power play because I think he's too valuable on the zone entry. Like, he is one of the best zone entry players in the entire league. Like, there's a handful of players who can keep up with Nathan MacKinnon stride for stride, and Marty Necas is one of them. And maybe in a straight line, like Necas, I think there's a case to be made that Necas could beat Nate in a straight line race. So that's the reason why I don't want to take him off, because I think he is a zone entry monster, but I don't need him to be net front. He can. I'd even be fine with overloading on right-handed shots at this point, but put Gabe net front. I agree. You've won.
Well, that's what they need to do, and the only reason they wouldn't do that is they don't want to overlog him. They don't want to play him too much. They are managing his minutes. But it's the move, and I think it's inevitable. I think that's got to. I'm sure if you were to get into that coaches meeting, that they've talked, that they know that's what this is all trending towards. If he's ready now, do it now. But I don't know if he's ready. I'd like to see Val out there. If he's not, hey, okay, I get what you're saying. Necas and zone entries are valuable on these power plays. And it's tricky because Marty Necas is a great player, but Necas is often, if he's not net front, and that's what they've been doing more in the past couple games, then he's short side low still on Nate's side. And yeah, we talked last season about how Nate was a little trigger shy on the power play. And I theorized how maybe that's because goaltenders were just keying in on that puck goes to Nate on the left side. They're just going to cheat. And Nate is trying to deke him. But I want to see Nate let it loose more. I want to see Nate with more space on that left side. That's where they're playing Necas. It's clogging things up. So you could put Necas in the bumper. Do you want a right-handed shot in that bumper area? Or you could put Necas on the right side? Do you want a right-handed shot on that side?
I mean, I'm okay with throwing Necas as a bumper if you're going to utilize it as another one-time option, because there's a few teams that really excel at it. In Colorado, when they do it low in the zone, not when they utilize the bumper high in the zone, when that bumper becomes a player right in the middle of the hash marks rather than at the top of the circles and still in the middle of the ice, they'll try that little Kale flank bumper one-timer. They've tried it a few times. Nichushkin is often a left-handed version of that shot, and Nate is trying to make that pass back up ice when teams overload and overcompensate to try and go cover Nate's one-timer, he'll make that cheeky little one-touch back. It's like a 6-foot pass, and Nichushkin normally hammers that one-time opportunity. Kadri did it really, really well. There was a game, man. So this is years ago. Kadri was a Maple Leaf when this happened. This is pre-COVID. I think it's like 2018, something like this, where Toronto came to Denver and scored like 4 power play goals. And I think they beat the Avs like 7-4, something like that. It's so far in the back of my in the back of my memory that I don't really know everything to a T. But if you guys remember that game, Toronto comes in, power play goal, power play goal. They fed Kadri in that little bumper position constantly, and then when he came over to Colorado, they utilized him for it. I'm fine with doing that if Nate just is a right-handed shot, but you have to have someone on that left flank that you're comfortable with their passing ability. I don't know if I'm there yet with Olofsson, but I'd be willing to try.
It is. It makes it, because it's all, the hand of shot is so important, and it's easier from the right wing to the middle with the right-handed shot if you were to put Nate just in that role. And so that's a good point on Olofsson. Is he really that passer? Yumiko could do that. Brock Nelson can do that, but they moved him out of that role tonight. And I understand the allure of wanting Olofsson on that right side because of that shot. Now, Nate is so good on that left side of feeding the middle of the ice. That's where I love Lehkonen in that role. And I love even Ross Colton in that role. And they're left-handed shots. It's just easier for Nate on the left side to feed a left-handed shot in the middle. It just, the puck gets to the left-handed stick quicker because the left-handed stick is closer to Nate than a right-handed stick. And these milliseconds matter.
Oh, it matters.
Yeah.
It matters. The Toronto game that I was thinking of was February 12, 2019. Toronto comes in, they score 3 power play goals in a 1 minute and 49-second span in the second period. They won that game 5-2. Semyon Varlamov was the goalie of record for the Avs in that game.
Hey, Varley was a good Avs goalie. Varley was a good Avs goalie.
He got, Tuukka Rask stole a Vezina from Semyon Varlamov when he was here in Colorado.
Hey, speaking of the Boston Bruins, and you bring up Tuukka Rask, former Bruins goalie, some scrap. And it's I'll say this about Boston. So they come out, they score that opening goal. Really nice play from Charlie McAvoy. What a fake slap shot pass back down low. And at that point, it looked like the Bruins were flying. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, you still got Pasternak, and McAvoy's a good player, and your boy Morgan Geeky's a good player. And
I like Morgan Geeky. I've always liked that player.
There is some, like, that's what they're like, middle of the league, they're like a 500 team. But it's like, okay, was this just one of those nights where Boston needs these points, and they're just going to fly and play out of their skis a little bit, knowing that they're going to Utah tomorrow night and they're going to be gassed, at double elevation, back to back. So they look great in the first 3 minutes. Then, the Avs held them to what, like 12 shots on goal overall in this game. I think just 2 in the third period when Boston really needed this thing. So Boston just really slowed down. The Avs were great defensively. And then Boston got chippy. Couple things. Elias Lindholm with that cross check to Marty Necas.
Remember when Elias Lindholm was like the belle of the ball for 2 straight trade deadlines and then signed a wild deal with Boston? Everyone's like, what is happening? What are you doing right now, Boston? That was the beginning of the end for the Bruins.
I wouldn't have hated him here as a trade deadline acquisition because how much they needed centers. But
he was a hot commodity here, and I know they kicked the tires on him. They just couldn't afford the calling price that Calgary wanted.
Just hated that cross check. Like, Marty Necas is going up trying to gather a puck with his glove. He's fully exposed, extended, like ribs, or he's off his feet. And that, just a nasty cross check right into his ribs. I hated that.
Yeah, I hated that too. I see the comment from Guru about Zadorov.
And that's the other one that I was going to get to.
Hold on. So he goes, I noticed nobody wanted to fight Zadorov. And then he goes over, that's the result of like having the smallest team that needed Keaton Middleton. You want Keaton Middleton on this team? Yikes. Oof.
No.
I don't believe that the team didn't want to fight Zadorov because he's so big. If you watch Nikita Zadorov play, and play away from Colorado, his days in Vancouver, his days over the past couple of years in Boston, Nikita Zadorov doesn't fight. He never fights. Anytime that he throws a big hit or he gets chippy and someone tries to drop the gloves, he just sits there and holds on. It's not a fight. So there, for me, if I'm an opposing player, I don't drop the gloves because he doesn't do it. Nikita's a bad fighter. He doesn't want to fight. And if you were to do it, all you're doing is tiring yourself out and not getting any punches in. I guess the plus of it is that you won't get punched back. Like you'll just kind of get jostled around a bit. Nikita Zadorov is not a fighter. There's a reason why it didn't happen. It's not because the Avs are shirking their responsibilities or shrinking away from a fight in that situation. It's because Zadorov doesn't fight.
Well, and I know he and you know, part of the reason he doesn't fight, and he's a big MFer. We know that, and that's another what was kind of one of my things about what he was doing tonight is, you know, he started his career with the Avs, you know, as a trade from Buffalo, I believe, but you know, he kind of grew up with the Avs in the NHL, and he knows.
I forgot about his days with Buffalo.
And he it was even before he runs into Wedgwood, which was out of control almost on purpose. And the reason I really actually think this was on purpose, it was because moments before that, a stoppage of play, he starts jawing with Brock Nelson at the blue line as the whistle's blown and shoves Brock in the face. And then Landeskog comes over and they played together, Zadorov and Landeskog, and Zadorov's just saying like, fuck you. And I think that pissed Zadorov off, even though Zadorov, you shouldn't be Big Z. You shouldn't be shoving Brock Nelson in the face. What are you doing? I think that's what put it in Zadorov's mind. Like, okay, I'm going to go run into your goalie. I'm going to go out of control. And if I lose my edge, and I know he had a body on him, but come on, you watch that play. He knew what he was doing.
It was a reckless play. It was penalized properly. I just don't think. I do believe that players are heady and they know. There's. It's funny. Barstool made a second hockey podcast off of a very common hockey term. And it's about reading the game notes. Like if you don't read the game notes, you don't know who you're playing against. NHL players know exactly who they're on the ice against, know exactly the tendencies that those players have. I firmly believe that everyone on the ice saw that it was Nikita Zadorov going into their own goaltender and realized I'm not going to get a fight out of this. The more physical things that were happening around there were not Nikita Zadorov focused. Like the more physical nature of the post play scrum was happening around Mikey Eisman. Like that's what it was going. The players were trying to find a dance partner in some way. They knew they were going on a power play as well. So you don't want to be the asshole that takes your team off the power play because you know you're already going there. The referees are already saying, I've got 91. 91's going. Don't be the next guy. You hear it all the time. Referees in the NHL are incredibly vocal. Guys are listening. They're cerebral hockey players. You don't want to be the jerk at that point, right? Is it a 3-1 game or a 2-1 game at that point?
I think 3-1, but nonetheless, you're right.
So
you're right. No, you're right. I'm not
the asshole that takes the power play away. I'll go find a different dance partner as long as it doesn't put me in the box.
No, hey, look, I don't care that I haven't brought up. I don't care that nobody tried to fight Zadorov. I'm just going to call him out for a couple of punk plays in a row that I think were connected. That were connected in Z's mind. I think the running into Wedgwood had to do with him getting shown up by Landeskog just a few minutes before, even though Z started the whole damn thing himself. And, look, we know him. We've seen him here. And you're right. He doesn't fight.
He doesn't, man.
And it's a little...
For being a huge dude who throws his weight around, he does not fight.
Yeah, if you're going to play like that and you're a big dude and you're not going to fight, I'm sorry, that's bad optics.
I would agree with you.
Back your shit up.
I don't think Zadorov is a fake tough big guy. I think he's a real tough big guy who just doesn't fight.
I agree, but sooner or later you got to drop the gloves. If you're that player with that stature who plays that way.
But again, so like let's put Josh Manson there. Like I don't think Manson's on the ice even. Actually, maybe he was. That my memory can't serve. I can't
remember who was on the ice. Really, I can't.
If I'm Josh Manson, and we know Josh Manson will drop the gloves and fight, right? He is a big, not fake tough dude in the NHL. And he's been playing great hockey. I thought he had a great series against Dallas. There's going to be stretches of regular season play where Josh Manson looks like he sucks. It's just who he is. But when playoff time comes around, you're going to love him. I absolutely love that player. He is a unique size. He has a unique physicality on this team. But let's say I'm Josh Manson and Nikita Zadorov runs into my goaltender. And I know, because I am a smart, tenured veteran hockey player in this league, I know who Nikita Zadorov is. Nikita's not going to fight. He's got the same amount of reach on me, and we can't take each other's helmets off because we'll get fined or suspended, or we'll get another penalty. If I'm Josh Manson, all I'm doing, because I'm not getting punches thrown my way, all I'm doing is punching plastic at that point. And I run the risk of cutting my hand, breaking a finger, breaking a wrist, or getting UFC rolled, like an alligator roll, which we see a lot of players utilize now to end a fight. And then people think they've won the fight because one guy lands on top of the other. You run the risk of rolling over an elbow or your ankle getting caught under however big Nikita Zadorov is, 6'5", 230 pounds, something like that. As a smart hockey player, I'm going, what am I gaining from this? I'm not gaining anything. I know Scott's okay. I'm gonna go be a dick to someone else on the ice and say, hey, this isn't okay. But I'm not fighting Zadorov because I already know it's not gonna bear any fruit. Let's put a pin in it, Spring. D-Max coming to us live from Ball Arena.
Hey guys, D-Mac. Great to see you. Nice win by the Avalanche tonight. And the vibe with Jared Bednar afterwards was you need to make hay when the sun shines. And what he's describing is this is what happens with a healthy team. And to reflect upon last year is just simply to say, we weren't healthy really at any point, not really. And then you obviously had inadequate goalie play and a terrible start where they just had to just come from behind the whole season long, it felt like. But this is what it looks like with a really good hockey team that has unbelievable health. Gabe Landeskog said afterwards, we're not even close to playing as good as we can. I mean, let's face it, the power play has been abysmal. Can you imagine what this team would look like if the power play was any good right now? And I didn't really hear people booing the power play, as Nathan McKinnon sort of referred to last time. But then again, there wasn't much of a vibe from the Chowderheads in here either. They had the lead, and Bartikov actually gave up that goal. That was his first shift ever in the NHL. Welcome to the NHL there, young man. And, was on the ice. But Bednar said that, hey, listen, he needs time, and he played fine after that, and, okay. But what you have here with a 5-0-1 start, and let's start doing some research into the best starts points-wise, I guess, for the Avs of all time, and we're starting to have that conversation, is a healthy team that's not even playing up to its potential. How scary is that? So they're happy with how they're playing. Wedgwood said that, Wedgwood's been sublime, and Wedgwood said that he's been working on not only what he's doing physically, but mentally. He's been working with coaches in terms of being locked in and focused, and getting to play 6 games in a row and playing this well can't do anything but positive things for his confidence. So I'll send it back to you guys, but just to let you know, the message here from behind the scenes was a healthy team is a good team, and there's rainbows and puppy dogs when the sun shines, and there's hay in the barn. Something like that. Back to you.
That's D-Mac live from Ball Arena. Spring, he mentioned the best starts in Avalanche history, which we are expecting this team to be among, right? The 2000-2001 Stanley Cup championship team started 9-0-2.
Yeah, and I think I was just trying to look at it, but ESPN's schedule, when I had it wouldn't let me go back to the season after the Cup, the season that they won. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. So that would have been 01-02. They got off to a great start that year, if my memory serves me correctly. And then a few years ago, they had another really good one as well. But yeah, 5-0-1.
23-24, they started off 6-0.
23-24. Yep. Let's see. 01-02. Let's see what they did here.
Their best seasons, as you look that up right now, 2000, 2001, 9-0-2, 2019, 2020, they started off 7-0-1. 85-86 as the Quebec Nordiques, they were 7-0-0. Their second full season in Colorado in 97-98, they were 5-0-2. The aforementioned 23-24 team started off 6-0, as did the Central Division Championship team in 2013-14, as they went 6-0-0. And then 94-95, the final year in Quebec, before they made the trek over here to the Mile High City, started off 5-0-0. And now you have this year at 5-0-1 through the first 6 games played.
All right, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, and man, in Utah on Tuesday night, and look, that was a close one. What was that 2-1? Was that the final in that game? 2-1. The other night, when they hosted the Mammoth, their home opener. So that was just a 2-1 game, and now you're going to be in Utah's building, and they're a solid team. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one, but maybe Mackenzie Blackwood's back, and even if he's not, screw it, man. Screw it, man. That Scott Wedgwood save off of the block shot in front, and then the rebound to I can't even remember the Bruins player, but he was shocked. I want to say it was Beecher. It might have been Beecher, but he was shocked when Wedgwood sprawled and made that glove save. He also had a really calm, cool, and collected glove save in the first half of this game from a short angle left side.
Short side off the hash mark. It was a grade A scoring opportunity, man.
And that was like a fundamentally sound save. Like that glove was there. It was soft. It was.
Oh, he made it look easy, and it's not an easy save.
No, it was from Tyke that you can get beat easily, and he just gloved that like it was nothing.
Yeah, the end of the month gets tough. I think you need 4 of 6 points next week. I'd like 5 of 6, but you need 4 of 6 points next week with 2 road games, one against Utah, one against Boston, and then sandwiched in the middle is a home game against what could be a preview of a Stanley Cup champion or a Stanley Cup final with the Carolina Hurricanes. But 4 of your final 5 games are very, very difficult. Home against Carolina, home and away over the course of 3 days against the New Jersey Devils, another team that would not surprise me if they come out of the East. And then obviously a Stanley Cup contender in the Western Conference. You finish up on Halloween on the road out there in Las Vegas against the Golden Knights. It finishes tough. You need to go into Utah and get 2 points.
And like I said, and we talked about it after the home opener, Utah's solid. I'd actually say top to bottom, complete roster-wise,
it's a good team.
They're better than Boston. And that's not saying nothing nowadays. Boston's weaker, but still, like Utah is, I think, like above that level. You saw what they did to Boston, though, tonight.
I think Boston's like a 10 or 11 seed in the East, and I think Utah is
fighting for an 8.
A 9 or a 10 fighting for an 8. I agree.
But
I have them getting in as the wild card 2 team this year because I think just the vibes around the team name and the jersey and the stadium and all that stuff kind of, you saw what it did to Seattle.
Sure. And hey, a good thing here is, I thought maybe it was Monday. No, it's Tuesday night. So it's an extra night off. You get Sunday, Monday off. You play Tuesday. That's good news. That extra night, I mean, those come in handy. When you get an extra night, take advantage of it. And then the fact that the Hurricanes are the team coming to town on Thursday night, they're the lone undefeated team in the league at 5-0-0. I'd like the Avs to be 6-0-1 for that one. That makes that an even bigger money matchup, a possible Cup final preview. And if there was ever a team, you're dying to lose eventually. Everyone loses eventually. Colorado's that team that could hand Carolina their first loss of the year.
Dude, they're complete. They're a really good team. I think their goaltending still like a little bit suspect, but solid defensive core. They're deep through the middle of the ice. They still don't have that. They still don't have that guy who's going to score 100 points and scare the living crap out of me in a playoff series, though.
Yep.
And until they get that guy,
no
McCarr, it's going to be Rantanen. Like you don't have that guy.
And speaking of Rantanen, who's kind of the final part of this little threesome, this menage a trois between the Avs, Hurricanes, and the Stars. Stars have lost 2 straight. Stars are 3-2 after they, beat Colorado. Then they beat Minnesota 3-0, feeling good. Loss, 3-2.
Yeah, it's obviously early, and I say this with my tongue kind of piercing through my cheek. The Colorado Avalanche, as it stands right now, control their destiny to the number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
Colorado's.
I know there's 76 games remaining, but
hey,
they're in the driver's seat.
First team to double-digit points in the Western Conference. An overtime loss to Dallas is fine. That's going to happen. It's 5-0-1, 11 points. Even the teams beneath them, who have only played 5 games that have 8 points, even if they get 2, they're still a point back at Colorado. They are in the driver's seat. They've taken care of business. They're healthy. They have the goaltending. And you're absolutely right. They control their own destiny to getting a 1 seed and playing Utah or Vancouver.
Oh, it goes such a long way.
Something, but that's huge. If you're avoiding that 2-3 matchup in the Central, that is huge.
It goes such a long way, and you saw what it did when the Avs won the Cup. You saw what it did when you got to open up against Nashville.
Yep.
Like, that was an absolute gift, opening up against that Predators team and just being able to run directly through them and not have to expend any energy. And then, when it got hard, when a Central Division foe who's not the same now as they were back then, it got hard round 2 when you had to face, the St. Louis Blues. And then you obviously know when you get to a Western Conference final, typically, unless it's a crazy year where, a goalie gets hot or a crazy injury happens in the postseason, typically you're going up against the cream of the crop in the Western Conference final. And it happened that year with Edmonton. You just kind of stomped them at that point. And we all knew once Darren Helm scored that goal in Game 6 that it kind of felt it was kismet, right? They were going all the way.
Yeah, the second round matchup's going to be tough because if you're the 1 seed, you're facing the 2-3 winner, and both those teams are good. It's if the Avs win the Central, then it's probably Dallas or Winnipeg, and you don't want to play either Dallas or Winnipeg in the first round. You got to play them in the second round. Fine, that is what it is. But you're not gassing. You're not gassing yourself. You're not going 7 games in the first round going into that series.
Look what happened to Dallas.
That's huge, man. Dallas wins that series, but it had to go 7.
And then you had to go through Winnipeg, which was a really good team. And by the time you see Edmonton, they had nothing left against Edmonton. Nothing left.
That's a huge point.
Man. Everyone's like, oh, you want to have the easiest path. No fucking shit. You want to have the easiest path. No, you want to go through the harder teams. You want to have to play against the best teams early on. No, you want to play against the best teams late.
Yeah. No, it's a huge point because it felt like
you know why the Kansas City Chiefs always get to Super Bowls? Because they don't have to play the first week ever.
Sure.
And even when they do, they get to play against crap teams.
Yeah, it's it felt like Avs Stars was the Cup Finals, and when Dallas won that series, I was like, oh, they're going to the Cup Final. In fact, they might win this whole thing. That's how good they looked in that series. And I hadn't even considered that. Yeah, they went 7 against Colorado, and then, like you said, Winnipeg, and that wears you down.
Yep. It matters, man. As much as people say the regular season doesn't matter, it matters to a point, right? I'm not saying it matters more than playoffs. It certainly doesn't. When you're in a cup window like the Avs are, if you don't succeed in April, May, and June, it's a failure. And the Avs are a binary team right now. There's a few teams in the league where where the barometer for success is completely binary. I think those teams are Colorado, Vegas, Edmonton, Carolina, Florida at this point. Did I throw Dallas in there yet? Dallas is one of those teams. If I have or I haven't, I think there's 6 teams there that are truly binary. You win it or it's a failure. There's other teams that are like Montreal. If Montreal wins a series this year or wins 2 series and gets to an Eastern Conference final, that's a successful year, even if they don't get through. If Utah makes the playoffs, that's a successful year. It's not binary. Colorado is a binary team. And in order for that binary success to have the greatest ability to be checked off, you can't be a 3 seed going in. Can't do it.
No, and and we've seen teams do it in this league, but it's more spread out. I think that the league also it's more, the talent is better distributed now than it's ever been. There's more parity than there's ever been. So if you are a middle seed, you're beating each other up. There is a bigger discrepancy between a 1 and an 8 seed, and it's the NHL and it's the NBA. It's these 7-game series in these physical sports. And I know that basketball is not hard hitting like hockey, but those dudes' legs go through the ringer.
Yep.
Like it gasses you out. Those are these 7-game series. It's a different beast. Like, look at the Dodgers in Major League Baseball right now. Okay, they had to play in the wild card round against the Cincinnati Reds. Fine, whatever. They're the road seed in the Brewers series. Fine, whatever. Because it's baseball. You know, I love baseball.
When you have a mythical creature playing,
and
for
when you have
Shohei
Ohtani,
like that is, dude, that's a game. Those 2 games that we got to see last night were sensational.
Unreal.
The Mariners theatrics with Cal Raleigh hitting his 4th homer of the postseason that barely clears the wall, and then they get Eugenio Suarez back from, is it Diamondback, right? Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah.
They get him right before the trade deadline. He comes in, no outs. He hits a grand slam that was a no doubter. The theater there in Seattle was unbelievable. And then we get treated to a game. The Shohei Ohtani game is a game that will be talked about in the next century, where you'll have kids going, that didn't really happen. Like, remember growing up, you hear all about these mythical games. The home run that Babe Ruth calls out. He points out his shot. That always feels mythical. And if you look back at the history, people were like, yeah, he kind of gestured out to the outfield. It wasn't, he was like, I'm going to hit this next thing 425 feet to right center. It became a myth. In the next century, people will be talking about the Shohei Ohtani game as though it was a myth.
As on 10 strikeouts, 3 home runs, 10 strikeouts pitching. You know, he didn't come to the bat. He didn't come to the plate 13 times and strike out 10 times, but then hit 3 bombs. No, that dude.
What a game.
Pitched and struck out 10 and hit 3 bombs offensively. And I'm watching Michigan, Washington, big noon game of the week. Klatt and Gus Johnson are talking about in the 3rd quarter, because it was incredible.
It's more important, right? It's a closeout game. It's at home. The homers that he hit were towering too. They weren't just little right field Yankee Stadium. He hit one out of Chavez Ravine. Like, it doesn't happen. Those things don't exist.
There's nothing like watching all-time talents. Now, Ohtani's on a different level from like everybody else. Jokic is in that class, but I don't even know if I can put Jokic on Ohtani tier, because some people don't understand it. You do. A lot of people listening do. I do. 10 strikeouts in an NLCS and 3 bombs at the plate is, I mean, that's just, no. You're not supposed to do. Even Jokic, who I love and I rave over, like, that is not even that. But in terms of just generational awesome talents, and while Shohei's in this league of his own, you know, Jokic, McKinnon, Makar, it's just an absolute treat.
It is. I can't wait. Dude, I can't wait till the playoffs. I can't wait till the Olympics. It feels as though we continue to get spoiled out here. And, it does feel like this core is 1 cup shy of where they should be at this point. It's very clearly not over. Like, their championship window is still very much wide open. I don't find it closing right now. They need to get another. Don't get me wrong. Like, you need to have a second championship with McKinnon and Makar to go, all right, that's it. Even if it ends at 2, I'd be okay with it. Because then I look at Sidney Crosby and I go, he got 3. You want as many as Sid or more than Sid? You're at that point, you're kind of getting greedy. But they do need a second one. I just feel as though it is not at the end of their rope. I still think they're squarely in the middle of it, and I see another 3 to 5 seasons of both, like, the Nuggets and the Avs being in this. Yeah, they're binary. Both of those teams are binary. They have a 5-year binary championship window.
I was a little miffed, even though Dallas was so good, and it was their home ice in Game 7. Like, man, I love that Avs roster going into that series. Are they missing something? Were they something I didn't know? But now I think there is something to be said for, and because a lot of the pieces they acquired at the trade deadline or even before, those were big. Those weren't just like kind of spot pieces. They were supposed to be like integral pieces, like a Marty Necas. And I don't know if you're just going to figure out this Avalanche system and figure out how to play with Nathan McKinnon in just a few months. I think we're seeing now here at the start of year 2, Necas is fitting in more. Jack Drury is fitting in more. I think we'll see that happen with Brock Nelson as well. I think there's a long play with those moves from last year's trade deadline. It's only going to get better. They're only going to fit in with this team more.
Burns fits like a glove too. Holy smokes, is he a good hockey player when you don't have to play him 24 minutes a night? That dude at 39 years old is playing north of 20 minutes a night in Carolina, which is absolutely insane. And you get to stick him on your third pair, and you're not playing him sheltered minutes, you're playing him proper situations. He covers a ton of ice. He's not overly physical. He's actually like, the analytics will tell you Brent Burns is not like a physical defenseman. He just covers areas. And he gets shots through.
He had this shot from the right. He had a wrist shot from the right point, like the
third period.
And I think it deflected off of a Bruins defenseman's arm and it went off the crossbar. But I was still so impressed with how high and the perfect trajectory of that. And it was effortless.
That dude rocks.
When he released that thing. There's a lot of D-men in this league that could not put that pace with that ease on a wrist shot from that area, let alone at 40 years old.
It's a complete art form, man. And there's some defensemen who are not good at it, getting pucks through. And like Sam Girard's one of them. Sam gets shots blocked constantly.
Well, it's like for Sam to do it, it's like a Bo Nix deep ball. He's got to like,
he's got to do the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary.
Whereas Brent Burns
they call that a crow hop in baseball. He's got a crow hop into the net. That's so rude. No, man. That dude's awesome. I love watching that guy play. He's been a wonderful addition.
Yeah, he's been great. And yeah, they're built, they're primed. They're only going to get more chemistry with the additions we saw at the trade deadline. Hey, go get those 2 points against the Mammoth. I want to see 6-0-1 Avs against a potentially undefeated Carolina team on Thursday night. That's popcorn.
All right, it's going to do it for us. Avs improved to 5-0-1 despite just a 12% power play through their first 6 games of the year. They sit alone atop the Western Conference with 11 points in their first 6. Continue to look great right now. But for spring, I'm Raj. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday evening late, an 8 p.m. puck drop on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 as the Avs travel to Salt Lake City to take on the Mammoth. We'll talk to you guys that evening around 11 p.m. See ya. Enjoy the Broncos game tomorrow at 2:05 as they host Cam Scattaboo and Jackson Dart.